Welcome back to Duro3 YouTube channel. In this short video I'm just showing you the next project I'm working on. I'm in the process of making up a controller for a HyGain or HyGain CD-45. It's a lightweight rotator, under one wind area rotator that will be building up soon. I just thought I'd show you this controller, and then I'll move on to the rotator because I need the controller working before I move on to getting the rotator aligned and everything. So basically this is a generic controller that I got a hold of, just a small easy to operate one, left and right, panel metered, nothing fancy. This version controller come out in quite a few different rotators. I'm just adapting this to this HyGain. So basically what I've done is I've put in one of my HyGain PCBs that I have made. I might go the other side, go this way. It has all the HyGain bits and pieces, as well as the here we've got the 12 volt output for the LEDs, which are up in here for the display illumination. So basically it's a basic setup. It hasn't got any LEDs or anything in it, so for indication. So basically I've put in a right angle plate, if you see in here, a right angle steel plate here I've got in here, and it's held down by the little baby transformer for the display, and I've mounted a toroidal, a 50 VA toroidal transformer. And what I've done is I've epoxied the centre to physically mount it, and I've used the top disc. I've used it on the bottom, and I put a washer on that on because the plate here was a bit short, so it was going to end up cutting into the actual rubbers. So I've used the plate which normally goes on the top, put on the bottom with a washer. Then I'm physically then put it the other way around, face down, and I filled it up with epoxy, and then basically I drilled the hole out after the fact so I can actually put the bolt straight through. Put the camera in the right direction so you see the bolt coming through there. I've also put in a 6-pin cinch plug socket, I should say, with one of my little cover plates, numbered cover plates. The cover plate I've probably mentioned before is for 8-pin cinch plug. It just happens to line up for the 6-pin as well. I put in since these ones normally have, this particular controller normally has a fuse on the PC board up here. I've actually found a way of putting a fuse holder within the back here and running the cable straight to it, and that still comes out to the back, which I'll get to that little part in a second. I've replaced the actual the adjuster pot for the display. This is a HyGain one, a 5K one I've got in here. So basically this is just a quick run through of this and whatnot. So it's basically just about finished, and I've just been finishing cleaning up this, and it's all cleaned up inside. I had to do a few little mods here and there to cut out for where the bolts sit to hold these two bolts there, the two screws I should say. They had to be just that plate fits flushed here, and then the bolts just need to be ground out a little bit. Had to increase the hole size for the calibration plate, and had to physically cut this hole out a bit further. I'm going to slide this together so you see what it looks like when it's together. It's held together by 2 screws at the back, and it's a clip lock version. It's got like, get these cables out of the road. It's got like little locators on the top, nothing on the bottom, it's just on the top only. So basically, I'm just going to quickly show this all slid together. I have to pull the cable through. So we just basically slide him in, and we push him in, and we just go snap on the top, and basically then we have the fuse holder just coming out the back. So we actually can remove it, and we can see, you can actually plug the plug in, because I've got a, whoops, I've got to bring the plug down. I removed the 6-pin screw terminal from here, I didn't. It was in bad condition. I didn't particularly like it, so I just put a 6-pin cinch plug in here instead. So basically, yeah, it's ready to go. You can still read the numbers on here quite well. So basically, now it's all. Oh, it's got some stuff all over it. Yeah. So basically, it's all together now. Basically, I'll be pulling back apart to do some more testing and whatnot. So the casing's not in the best. It's got a few scratches on it, but I've cleaned up as best I can. It is only for a cheaper rotator, so I'm just trying to get things done around here. So there we go. We have one basic controller for a CD-45 that I'll be building up very shortly, and I'll probably attach maybe its video on the back of this one. So yeah, see how I go in the editing department. Well, that's a quick run through of a CD-45 controller. No problem. I shall see you shortly. Bye. Welcome back to Duro3 YouTube channel. This is part 2 of the HyGain CD-45 rotator and controller assembly. Okay, this one is, I'm just showing you the rotator part of this project. And the first thing, I'll show you the mast clamps I'm using on this one. These are my new mast clamps. These are the stainless steel ones, 3mm stainless steel, folded, very sharp on here, so it will grip any mast. And these ones were made for the HyGain Ham series and the CDs series, which use the same housing and everything. So, but what I've done is I've used M6 U-bolts, because this rotator that bits and pieces that I got never had anything, so I'm using metric bolts on this one, U-bolts. And so I've got this on here, so this is all ready to go. As you can see, 3mm, pretty good. So two of those clamps on there, that to make it hold really well. The base of the CD-45 has a lower bearing ring. This is a brand new one I brought in from the States probably a couple of years ago now. I got a whole lot of parts out of the States a couple of years ago, and I think I got 4 of these at a time. And that's just been glass bead blasted, because they only come out natural without any paint or anything on them, so that's been glass bead blasted. And of course, same thing with the casing. This was a used casing. As you can see inside, it's a bit manky, but it's still in pretty good condition. So it's all been cleaned up. The inside wasn't touched, but I had the outside glass bead blasted, and I have etch primed it, and I've painted it in silver, aluminium silver they call it, or aluminium silver colour, and then I put a couple of coats of clear on it. That's why it's pretty shiny, and the same thing applies to that. Main thing I'm going to get to is the trials and tribulations I've had with making up this rotator. I've been gradually saving up parts for it, and yeah, so what we've got here is, when we come a bit closer, not too close, might ramp it down a bit here. So I've already bought in a few of the RMPs. RMP one, I think they call it. What is this? Is the potentiometer, the latest version potentiometer. So this is the potentiometer for this. So this was okay. This didn't have any problems in this one. One of the early ones I had a problem with this part in here. So that's all good. Next, basically, this one will have. Let me turn him over without losing everything. It'll have a 5-pin screw terminal board on the bottom, so it only uses 5 wires. The CD-45 normally has 8 wires, because the motor start capacitor is in the controller, and we have the motor start capacitor which fits in here. So we only need 5 wires. So this is going to be a strip down, because the next thing that happens with this rotator is assembly and greasing up. So basically, this is just one out of the very early rotators. It works fine. It's 120 to 140. I've tested it at 122 microfarads. So basically, trials and tribulations. Here we go. This here is a brand new motor. I brought in 3 of these, if I remember correctly, about 2 years ago, and one of them, hence this one, was really tight. and would only run for a few seconds and it would just jam up and whatnot. So I couldn't figure out what was wrong with it, and in the end I have drilled out the rivets which are here. There's 2 rivets normally there, and separated the whole thing, pulled the gear off, and I had to physically polish the shaft. It was just badly made shaft or something. I thought it was bent or twisted, but it run true. And so I pulled the whole thing apart. Of course, then I drilled the holes out to take M6 bolts. I had to drill so nice tight fit. M6 is a nice tight fit now in here, so it holds everything back together again. While I had it apart, I pulled the brake off itself. The brake's inside, so as you look down, if we turn it over, it will spin quite freely. But if we turn it this way, it's hard to spin because this has the brake in. Oops, how about I go there? We try and turn it now, and it's harder to turn. It won't just turn on its own, so not that light here. So it was the brake internally, which you can't really see. Maybe there's not enough light here to see it. So it's a brake internally. So in what I did is I ended up drilling the rivets out, stainless steel rivets, and had to reposition it and take out two of the washers I had space out, because for some reason this was like really close. It had only a very small lift, and it was rubbing on the top. It was just everything was not alright with this motor. It must have been a Friday job. So basically I've repositioned the actual brake. I've flattened it out and made it look a bit better, because now it's got a lot more movement, as you can see in the lift. Became brake and activated, so it spins up, and it spins in about that area point, and it's got more lift to there, so about that point it lifts up to. So basically I then got it all running, put it back together again, put the new M6 stainless steel bolts in, and put M4 stainless steel bolts holding the brake pad down. That is now a goer. So then what we got here is the motor plate, which was another thing. This is the motor plate. It's a standard for the HyGains. So this technically wasn't a this is not necessarily a CD-45 that I am rebuilding. I'm actually making this from parts. So basically this is a Ham 4 top motor plate or gear plate, which has the original old style limit switches, and of course I put the mounting bracket for the motorcycle capacitor. I've tapped out, I don't like imperial screws, so I've tapped out the screw. This is an M4, and I've got an M3 sitting in there. So this one's in pretty good nick, so it's all ready to go. So I'm putting back over there again as well. The gears are from one, so these are the gears that I've got for these ones, so we'll take them all out. I've had to do a bit of juggling with I'll take the ring gear out. The ring gear will be a aluminium one. Normally the gears are stainless for the Ham 4s. Well, this is a 3-stack gear I've got a hold of. For this one, this is what they use in early versions of these, and we've got the rest of the bits and pieces here for this. I just want to get this out of the road. And two little story about, and I'll take this out of the road as well so we don't lose it. A little story about this. This is a brand spanking new, came in with the same order. It is part number 5037001. It is, to say the least, was very poorly done. The track has been, obviously they must put in a lathe to mill or get the shape of this. They've gone too far. The lip here is, and the whole thing moves. I have got a spacer coming for around here. I had to put in the bottom here, I had to use what is it? I'm using 10mm bearings in the top and 9.5mm bearings in the bottom. 10mm bearings, just fill this up with 10mm bearings, 51 of them in there, to pack it back up, because it was the up and down float in this was horrendous with this very badly Friday job again, I reckon. So basically they must have just lathed it too much on, yeah, put it in stock and we'll just sell it to someone overseas because they can't send it back. So yeah, it's like, okay, so I wasn't impressed because it still had the end float I've got under control with the 10mm bearings, but I haven't got the float sideways figured out yet. But I have got coming in very soon, I've got a ring which is going to go around here of rubber, like an O-ring stuff that I'm going to make up. That's going to limit the amount of movement it moves around, so hopefully that will be right. Well, I thought it was going to be here today, but it's not here yet. I've also, when I went to drill one of the holes out for the screws, they come with a screw snapped off in one of these, and I had to visually drill it out. So then I've used M6 screws holding the top plate down. Again, these are the M6 ones. I found these. These are the M6. And also, there, since I'll pull the actual terminal block off. That's what I should have called it before, terminal block. Not terminal cover. Terminal block. I could have used something else, but this is what I'm using on this. I've actually put into here. The original screws in these are, I don't know what they are, 1/8 or something. Well, that was stripped. And so basically I put little coil inserts into these. Oh, by the way, that's what I used in here. So I did recoils in these. So the M6 recoils, so I've drilled them out, M6 recoils. These are now M4 recoils. And also, for the first thing I did with this was put into here. The mounting bolts have been changed over from whatever size it is, I can't remember what size it is, imperial size, to M6 screws. They may have been quarter in these, and I've put M6 recoil inserts in. So I've got rid of most of the imperial that I can get a hold of, because I don't have imperial screws and things here. So basically, I was hoping to have the little mod that I was going to do to stop this thing from floating left to right. That will work quite fine. But yeah, this is just a bit of a quick run through and strip down before I start getting ready to put this all back together again. So I've got to wait until the stuff comes in, but I'll be able to get this together, and I'll start packing it up, and then I'll get that happening in due course. So again, this is coming up for sale eventually when I get the whole thing back together again and all the mods done to it. But yeah, so a whole lot of new parts in this one. New motor, well, repaired new motor, new potentiometer, new lower bearing ring, new, which I had to repair and do more work to, gear chassis. So yeah, so all good skis. I think that's enough of this. I mean, blurbing on about things. So yeah, all good. At least we're getting moving forward with this now. So I just hope the ring was going to be here today, but it's not. Well, okay, all good. I shall see you in probably part 3 of this little video. Have a good one. Bye. Welcome back to the Giro 3 YouTube channel. This is part 3 of the HyGain CD-45 rotator upgrades and repairs and stuff that I've done. I've just finished assembling it and wiring it, and finally I got, as I mentioned before, I was waiting for this O-ring material to come in and to put around the side of it to stop this side float. This will rest up against the internal of the top housing, and it'll be greased, so that should stop my side float on this particular one. It's a shame because this is a brand spanking new sub chassis, and it's just been ground wrong. So basically, after forget all that, it's all wired up. I've got all new wiring in this, motor capacitors in, as you can see, the new potentiometers in and wired. Everything is basically ready to go. Oh, oops, that shouldn't be up in there. That should be there. So yeah, there we go. So it's all happening, and so basically next I will be assembling the rest of it. And as you go for the bottom, you see the yeah, if you tap it far enough, you can see the black ring around the outside. And yeah, it's been glued on as well, all the way around, not just a little bit, it's just been glued everywhere. So there we go. Okay, well that's just a quick update. I want to get this thing up and running. I've got to do the rest of the assembly and alignment and all this stuff, and get this whole thing happening, and then I'll be back again with another update. Catch ya, bye. Welcome back to Giro 3 YouTube channel, part 4 of the HyGain CD-45 rotator combo I've just finished off. Okay, it's now all finished. I'm going to take it for a quick run through. I just thought I'd show you it all together. Oh, just goes in a label. it's all wired up, ready to be put onto the controller. So it's all finished, all greased. I've got no side float in this at all. Well, it's got a small amount. It runs really well, yeah, so I'm just about to give you a bit of a quick run through of it working. It's all together. So I've got a little stand here I sit these rotators on, since they've got cables coming out through the rear end of them. So I'm just going to put this through a plate I've got here. This is one that I've got a hold of. This is one for a HyGain. I think it was for some mask clamp, which is cut down to space these up. So I'm going to use this for this application to keep it off the workings here, and make it so, because it runs really close. When I get the whole thing through the hole and everything, would be a good idea. There we go. Alright, let's get it on there like that. Quickly wire him up. This battery will probably die on me, no my luck. Plug my other one in. Alrighty, we're facing it north at the present moment. Let's take that back so you can see it going around, sorta. Okay, oh, there's our north. I've always marked these things with north and blue. We'll turn him on, and with that we actually can visually see where it is, north. We'll take him for a quick drive. There she goes. Okay, coming up to west, which is probably about right. Right there, west is right, yep. We're at 225 degrees southwest. The limit switches will take over when it gets to south, and I've got someone moving in upstairs. Probably may hear it, may not. Okay, there's our south. We'll run it back the other way. Oh, you probably can't see me pressing the lever here, can you? There we are. That might be better. Okay, we go back the other way. So this one is now finished. The only thing I haven't got is a lower mask clamp for this yet, so we shall see how we go. Then we come back with pass through west. We've got a bit there. And back up the north. These rotators can be very noisy. Then they quieten down. Yeah. Here we go, coming round to northeast. Very simple operation with this. So you just hold the lever and presto, away you go. No brakes to push in or anything else. This is a very basic rotator setup. Okay, southeast. Righty-o, coming around to south. There we go, limit switch is taken over. Okay, there is a quick run through of the CDE/HyGain CD-45 rotator combo that I've just finished making up. Rightio, it's all up and running, and all good. I shall catch you next video on the next project, I should say. Catch up, bye.